How's it going, everyone? Schwell here with a video update. Let's talk about our ultimate builds. Over the years, I've been able to establish great relationships with some great companies, some great people. And this build reflects that. Most of the parts, I would say 90% of the parts on this gun are from manufacturers that have participated in the B3E's media event here in Daytona Beach, Florida. I've been a part of the B3E staff for going on 4 years now. I got the idea of building an AR that was based on parts from manufacturers that have participated in the B3E's media event. And that includes companies like Geissele Automatic, Spikes Tactical, SB Tactical, Black Spider Optics, Midwest Industries, Faxon Firearms, and many more. The companies that I named here are the companies that have participated in B3Es and have parts that are included in this particular build. Some of these parts I paid full price for, while other parts I was able to get either deep discounts or were provided by the manufacturers. If we start at the front of the gun, the first thing you'll notice is the War Comp 5.56 from Surefire. This goes in a completely different direction than I usually go when I build guns. Usually my guns are equipped with muzzle devices from companies like VG6 Precision. And this gun did have this Delta 5.56 muzzle device on it when everything started, when the build started. But after taking the gun to the range and actually shooting it in this format, I realized that the concussion forces coming from that muzzle device were just not conducive to me enjoying myself at the range using this particular gun. And why that is so important, because I have a lot of guns that I can just fall back and use other guns, but why that was so important to me is I really enjoy shooting this gun. This gun has made me somewhat addicted to the short rifle, the pistol. It just I just enjoy these sub 14.5-inch barrels. So the Surefire War Comp comes in handy because I have a warden in place, and that's like a diffuser, I guess, and that sends the blast of the concussion forces out toward the muzzle end of the gun, away from the shooter, away from the gun. And I think that will allow me to enjoy my shooting a little bit more, as well as some of the suppressors that I have coming in. I have my AMT suppressor, which is on another gun right now. Will not work with this because it needs at least 4 inches of barrel to go over in order to be compatible with the firearm. As we move back, we have the Cloud Defense mount for the pressure switch. And this pressure switch is from a Streamlight ProTac HLX, and they work extremely well together. As with many other parts on the market, this mount works well with the Streamlight pressure switch as well as the Surefire pressure switches. That Cloud Defense mount is actually mounted to a Geissele Automatic's MK8 9.5-inch handguard. Do I really need to explain why I went with this handguard? But just to let you guys know, when I was deciding to do this gun, the length of the barrel was predetermined. The handguard was predetermined. The thing that inspired this format was watching all of the videos on YouTube, and as well as the discussions on a lot of the different forums like AR15.com, where people are talking about their MK18 clones or their MK18 replicas, the mod 1, the mod this. Seeing the pictures, seeing the videos, and looking at the form factor of that particular setup, this was a no-brainer for me. Geissele makes a great product, a very strong product, a very resilient product. They're easy to mount and they look good. So the choice was quite simple. Under the handguard is a barrel by Faxon Firearms. It's an 11.5-inch barrel that I purchased specifically for this build. Faxon is another one of those companies that has worked with us at the B3E's media event, and I was able to get the barrel at a discounted rate. On the bottom of the handguard, we have the low Pro LLC hand stop. Paid full price for this. I actually saw this part on Hollywood 23's YouTube channel and had to have one. And I'm glad I actually went and purchased one. If you look on my channel, I've featured this M-Lock version as well as the key mod version. As we work our way back, we have the Black Spider Optics 1-4. Why did I go with a magnified optic as opposed to a red dot? Versatility. I'm not a door kicker. I'm not a tactical guy. I'm not a veteran who has actually seen combat or any of that stuff. Red dots are great. Red dots have their place. I am a person that shoots at the range. Should I equip my guns to handle any and all situations? Sure. But I think the versatility of the magnified optics, or the variable magnification, is something that you can't ignore. And I went with this optic because of the reticle. It's one of those circular reticles like you would find on an EOTech, and it works extremely well for quick target acquisitions. Now with a 1-4, reaching out to 100 yards is quite simple, and that's what I was basing this on. Since it's a shorter firearm, I thought a 1-4 would be enough. I did consider a 1-6 and even considered 1-8. But the 1-4 is what I settled on, and so far I'm extremely happy because target acquisition is quite simple, quite effective. And the feature set for this optic is fantastic as well. At under roughly $250, you're getting a lot of optic for a little bit of money, so it's worth every penny that's being spent. That optic is mounted on the gun via a Midwest Industries 30mm 1.4 inch offset mount. The mount weighs in at 8.4 ounces and features QD levers by Elite Defense. The mount is made in the US. Again, that's made by Midwest Industries, another company that has been at B3E media events, and they were willing to provide that part, and they did at no cost. The dust cover features branding from Gunstruction. If you don't know what Gunstruction is, you should check them out. Go to your app store from your iTunes all the way to Google Play, and they have an application that you can download. You can also find them online at ar15.com. It's a simulator basically, and you can go in and you can build guns. And I've actually put this gun together virtually. Some of the parts weren't available on Gunstruction, so I supplemented some of those, but for the most part, I was able to get an idea of what this gun would look like before I even purchased the first part. And Gunstruction offers that. They've also participated at B3E's. It's a free application initially, and if you want to unlock other things, you can pay for the paid version, and I think it was less than $5. Now that price may have changed, but I've been a Gunstruction user for years. And that branding is on a Strike Industries Ultimate dust cover. I appreciate this, and I believe this was released to the market in 2015, and I haven't looked back. This is the preferred dust cover, and I know you're thinking, oh, a dust cover, how important can a dust cover be? It's not super important, but it's super convenient. I'm one of those guys that builds an AR, puts it all the way together, realizes that he forgot to put the dust cover on before he put the handguard on, or the barrel nut. End up having to take the front end of the gun apart altogether just to put the dust cover on. Something that I'm not even really sure I use a lot. The Ultimate dust cover allows you to install it without removing the handguard. That dust cover is attached to a receiver set by Spikes Tactical. It is their Billet Gen 2 receiver set. I had to have this set because it was ambi. As a lefty, I build so many guns that are not ambi or not lefty friendly that when I decided to put this one together, it was a must-have. Spikes Tactical is local, so it was a no-brainer. I enjoyed working with them. I enjoy hanging out with them. They've been at the B3E's media event going on 2 years, 3 years now, so there's a great relationship there as well. This receiver set features ambi mag catch, an ambi bolt catch and release, and ambi safety fire select. Everything on this receiver set is pre-installed with the exception of the trigger. It even comes with a traditional dust cover that I actually took off before assembly and replaced with the Ultimate dust cover. Another great feature of this receiver set is most of the parts are captured. The things that you would normally fight with to install springs and make things work together, you don't have to fight with this. One, they pre-install everything for you, but two, it's all captured. It has threaded set screws that hold the springs and the pins in place. So there's really nothing to really worry about. Even if you have to disassemble the gun, as I did for Cerakote, it wasn't a painful experience. Everything was captured. There was no using punches and pins to bang things into place. Not at all. The grip is a Spikes tactical grip. It has their logo in the stippling. And this is something that I stumbled across a few years ago on eBay. And every time I see them pop up on the different websites, I buy one or two of them just so that I can have them for my builds that have either spike receivers, or I just want to do something different than the typical Magpul grips that I'm always using. The charging handle on the gun is the Super Charging Handle by Geissele Automatics. That is one of 4 or 5 parts of the gun that are made by Geissele. They're my go-to brand. If Geissele carries that particular part, that's the brand I prefer to go to get the part if it's in the budget or if it works with the direction that we're going in with the gun. The trigger is the Super Tricon or Super T trigger. Now most people go with the SSA, SSAE, a lot of the other different offerings from Geissele. I like the Super Tricon. It's somewhat of a hybrid. It's almost a combination between your typical mil-spec and a flat trigger. The profile of the trigger is not as curved as you would find on a mil-spec trigger. And I find that to be extremely comfortable and extremely usable. Backed by Geissele the same way as their other triggers and works extremely well, is as crisp and as sharp as their other triggers. At the rear of the pistol we have the SB Tactical SB PDW brace. I went with the brace, I went in the pistol format because the SBR paperwork would 1, take too long, and 2, add limitations to the firearm when I need to travel with it. I just wanted a versatile setup that would work in any environment, in any way, in any setup. This pistol format works extremely well for me. And these SB Tactical braces are one of the best products to hit the market in the last couple of years. And I'm saying that about a lot of the parts on this gun. And that's basically the point. Some of the best parts that I could actually find and put together are on this gun. The things that I prefer. I did not settle on anything. I got everything that I wanted the first time and I made it work. I put it together. The one thing that didn't happen the way I wanted it to was when I ordered the brace, I ordered a black one, ended up getting a tan one. But because the gun was going to be painted, was going to be Cerakoted by Blackout Custom Cerakote, I didn't really push the issue that much. I do have a slight regret that the color is off like this. I would have preferred it to be black to go with all of the other accents. But this works, and if it bothers me enough, I can always soak it in some RIT dye and make it black or at least darker so that it goes along with the gun a little bit better. I didn't want the gun to just look good. I wanted it to perform as well. I wanted it to perform better than it looked. So when it was time to select the bolt carrier group, the Sharps Rifle Company XPB or Extreme Performance Bolt Carrier Group was a no-brainer. They sent this to me almost a year ago for testing and evaluation, basically to feature it on my channel as well as my social media. And upon using it, I've put close to 2,000 rounds through the gun or through this bolt carrier group, and I'm extremely satisfied. And there's a level of trust that's been established with this thing. It cleans up really well. It is very reliable, has worked in every gun that I've put it in, and I've abused it. As you can see, it's a little wet here, but it's not necessarily clean. I just wiped it off for the video. I trust that this thing is going to perform as well, if not better, than what I need it to. The buffer and buffer spring are by Geissele Automatics, and it features an H1 buffer as well as their twisted buffer spring. This combination is fairly quiet. We don't get a lot of the twang sound that I get with traditional setups, so this works extremely well with this setup and my needs. We've talked briefly about the Streamlight ProTac HLX or rail mounted HLX light, but that is mounted on the gun via a Scout mount by Midwest Industries. And this mount is designed for the Scout light by Surefire, but the Streamlight is set up to be Scout compatible. It takes up one M-LOK slot, very clean and very convenient, and very strong. It's not going anywhere. And because it directly mounts to the M-LOK, I didn't have to add any rail sections, which means I didn't have to add any unnecessary weight or girth to the handguard, as I can still put my finger here and get the purchase that I need on the gun. So that mount offers a level of convenience, a level of reliability and stability that you don't see a whole lot on the market.